You are now tuned in. My name is Vincia Roundtree, and this is my diary entry number 1. Be you on purpose with purpose. This is my story. I hope you enjoy. Hi, my name is Vincia Roundtree. Thanks for tuning in to my first diary series video. I am extremely excited that you guys are tuned in. I'm excited to share my story. I'm excited to share my testimony with you all. And I just want to thank you just for taking the time out to just listen to me today. As you have seen with my status and my caption with my status, us as African American people, we grow up with this facade as children, as teenagers, even as adults, that what goes in this house stays in this house. Or another famous facade or phrase is, snitches get stitches. Just meaning that, we are taught a learned behavior to be silent about the things that we experience in our homes, in our churches, in our schools. And with this diary series and what I am trying to implement within my life and trying to create change is just sharing my story and sharing my testimony and spreading the word that it's okay to speak up and it's okay to talk about the things we experience in our homes, in our school, and churches, especially the very, very dark things. I mean, like sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse. Those are very traumatic events that happens in our lives and things that can shape us as human beings, can shape us in our adulthood, and can change us in many ways, form, and fashions. And I just hope that my story just kind of opens up that door for you. I have a wonderful mentor in during my college years. Her name is Ashley Spencer. She started and founder and creator of a nonprofit organization by the name of Steps, which stands for Struggles Transform into Extraordinary Possibilities of Success, which I was a devout member of and a former director of. And that organization within itself kind of shaped me into who I am today. It allowed me to be more courageous, and able to speak out and to share my story. Because Ashley Spencer, I mean, she has a wonderful testimony, and I don't want to share her story on the behalf of her. But, she shared with us and taught us that, we never know what people are going through. We wear shirts with our struggle words, and we talked about what we're dealing with on the outside of us. And on the back of the shirt it says, "And you thought you knew me." Like, we walk around and we judge the book by its cover. But we do. We look at people, the way they're dressed, the way they're talking, their slang. We look at their posture. We're looking at the people that hang around, like, oh, that girl is X, Y, and Z, or that guy is this. And it's like not even knowing the things they're going through. By being quiet, we're depriving the person next to us who are going through the similar things that I've gone through, experiences. We're depriving them of the healing that we may have already had, or we're depriving them of a chance to get out of a situation that we have already conquered and succeeded through. So I do love her a lot, and she's not just a mentor. She's definitely my friend, definitely like a sister to me. And I just wanted to just mention her because this is what gave me the courage to really speak out today. So this is my story. I am 24 years old. I just graduated from college with my bachelor's degree in political science at the Central State University in Wilberforce, Ohio. This last December, actually, I walked the stage in May. So for the last 4 or 5 years, I have been dealing with a lot of mental health issues that I wasn't quite aware of. Like, I know I've always dealt with some form of anxiety, some form of depression, but it wasn't until I graduated, or really until my last semester of school, that I experienced, far more than I've ever imagined that I ever would with mental health. And as I seek to get help and seek to get more information, By March of 2018, I was diagnosed with severe anxiety, severe depression, PTSD, and also bipolar 2 disorder. I experienced an intense group therapy session for 5 weeks. Then I also attended another group therapy for another 5 weeks with the same program, and it really allowed me to learn a little more about myself and allowed me to understand what mental health is, which I know a lot of people in our Black community we're not really taught a lot about. And here I am today, just kind of sharing with you how important mental health is, and also just to give you insight to how it can definitely help and change you. It's not just about counseling and seeing someone, but it's really about understanding your mind's psychological standpoint, different trauma areas and trauma experiences that can distort our minds and our emotions, and our bodies, even, stress, and causes a lot of health issues, which I'll get into in a moment. And as I share my story, I'm not going to talk about, my family per se, and my mother, my sisters, and my siblings. I'm strictly just talking about me and my experiences in my life and my story, and what I feel is important to talk about and to spread my testimony and my story about to you all. I was molested at a young age by people who were inside of my family and outside of my family. I was molested from the age of 7 to about, I would say 14, 15 years old. What kind of impacted me the most is when I was touched on and molested by my mother's ex-husband, which kind of led me into a spiral of events, including I grew a fear of men in a sense. It kind of crushed me as a woman. When my mother's ex-husband stepped in the picture, I was finally happy to have a dad, someone who I can trust, someone who I can love, someone who can open that gateway of fatherhood to me, because my biological father, he definitely ran away from his responsibilities of raising me, and so him coming into the picture, which is something that I felt was going to allow me to have that experience. He just was another piece to that puzzle, and another person who scarred me, and kind of tore me apart. He not only molested me, he was very verbally and physically abusive to me, mentally abusive as well. So my facade or my image of men changed at that point, so much so that I actually began to start dating girls. I've dated girls from the time I was about 14, 15 years old. And, my first relationship was with a woman. And it, changed my life. At that point, I was just struggling with identity. I was struggling with, my fear in this image of men. Then I, experienced, of course, a little more trauma. I, went to college in my freshman year. I was raped by a close friend of mine. I chose not to say anything. I chose to be silent, and I chose to, of course, to not tell anyone, which reverted into a lot of suppression, a lot of depression, and substance abuse. I was addicted to alcohol my first 2 years of college. I used that as not only a coping mechanism, but I really abused alcohol in ways in which, is really hard to say. Like, I, drank to the point where I didn't feel anymore or didn't want to feel anymore. I contemplated over and over again suicide. I, was sexually active with random people. I just, spiraled after that point. And, it definitely left scars and definitely left a lot of confusion. The story is I was drunk at a party, and one thing led to the next. I wasn't really in control of myself and I was taken advantage of, which I learned, it's not just being taken advantage of, but I was raped by him. Um, and not once but twice. That really left a scar, and definitely left an experience of life that I've never thought I would go through. My experiences as a young college student, um, just it left so much damage where I was just mentally, just mentally out of. Right now, I am just in a state of getting to know me and loving myself and, loving who I am and loving what I've become. Really, this is my diary. This is my open and public diary for everyone to read, to listen, to take in and digest. Because if I write in a journal, no one would ever see that journal but me. No one would ever know that journal exists but God. And to me, that's still a form of being silent. Now, if I do have my journal, which I do, and I have the video that will be public, I'm now given a chance for myself to share and to spread God's word, not only with inside of here or releasing it on paper, but releasing it, to you all. It helps to heal others and to help others, that have gone through similar things. I just think it's time to talk about it and it's time to deal with it. It's time to really make a change. And I hope you guys, again, enjoyed this first video, and enjoyed my story and my testimony to you all. And I hope that it truly brings you hope and bring you healing. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Make sure you comment, specific questions, or if you want to email me, you can. My email address is my first name, Vincia.Roundtree, my last name, VR@gmail.com. Of course, you can follow me here on Facebook at Vincia Roundtree. You can also find me on Instagram at VR.studios. And, if you would like to, personally message me, you feel free to DM me on Instagram or to message me on Facebook or just via email. And I'm willing to sit and talk. I'm willing to answer questions. I'm willing to get as much feedback as possible. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking time to just listen to me today. Again, I'm excited on where God really takes me with this, and where God really leads me with this diary series. Of course, I, really try to operate in obedience with God and what He has for my life, and what He is guiding me to do, and shaping and molding me into. And I feel that, He's placed in my heart to speak up and to share my story and my testimony, and which is why, I just feel like this is just doing His work and doing what it is that He asks me to do, and just hoping that, of course, you all receive the same. So thank you, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye.